Welcome to More Than a Few Words, a marketing conversation for business owners. This is your host, Lorraine Ball. And if you've been following me for any length of time, you know I'm an email marketing geek. And I'm not alone in that passion. Today, my guest, Ellen McDowell-Scharouse, is joining me, and we bonded initially over our love of email and as a practical tool to stay connected with our customers. She works with business owners from her home base in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, helping them manage communications, stay in touch with their customers. And we've seen some interesting announcements that may put a wrench in what we plan to do. Ellen, welcome to the show.
I am so happy to be back, and especially with the latest trends that are happening in email marketing and any type of marketing. As you know, it's all about quality and your content, and it's getting to be even more important with what specifically Microsoft has announced this week.
So, for those of you that are paying attention, this episode is actually being recorded in late April. You may be listening to it on the podcast in June. My schedule was kind of full, but you may be watching it on our YouTube channel. So, let's talk about what did Microsoft say this week that really piqued your curiosity and made you go, oh no.
Yeah, it specifically changed this conversation because this week they have announced that they are going to even not pay attention to safe sender lists that you've set up. They are going to throttle back on letting emails get through unless they're getting the opens, they're getting the clicks. You know, they are going to pay. They've always paid attention to, how many emails are you sending and what percentages of people are actually opening it, are people actually clicking, which has always made keeping that clean list of your most engaged users important. But now that they're saying we may not even pay attention if you put somebody on a safe sender list to get it through, it's going to scare a lot of marketers.
And no, I was going to say, it's going to scare a lot of marketers and small business owners who think, well, maybe I don't need to do email. And I think that's really not the case.
No, I think email is going to be even more important than ever. We've seen on our social media, the algorithms are just, very poor as far as us getting through. And so making sure that we are in people's inbox, specifically making sure that people want to hear from us, that maybe it's the opening conversation that we're having with, why hire us? Why use email marketing to get education to where we're giving them the information that they want. And setting up and making sure it's part of a conversation, part of a trend with specific emails, with specific content that grows their education of what they want to do. But we're sending them things that they want and providing them a way to click and learn more, because that's what Microsoft is telling us that they're reading, is the opens and the clicks. So having either a blog on your website, or you're sending them to your Facebook page, your LinkedIn company page, your LinkedIn personal profile, to get the full information. Lorraine, you do a great job with putting your blogs both on your website and on LinkedIn so that they can read. So having the introduction and then going through, it's always been important. It's been what they've all said. And if Microsoft is starting this conversation with and specifically Microsoft is Outlook.com, Hotmail.com, things like that, Google, Yahoo, and all the other ones are going to follow suit because
absolutely,
they're all trendsetters.
So, as I'm listening to you and I'm thinking about it, the first thing I'm thinking is a little bit of list hygiene. If the email recipients, Google, Microsoft, Yahoo, are looking at your open rate, the easiest way to improve your open rate is to get rid of people who stopped opening your emails. Get them off your list.
Yeah.
I think people used to think, well, they don't hurt. I'll just keep sending them. Now they hurt.
Yeah, they're going to buy sometime. I'm just convinced that if I let them go, but people generally are signing up for your emails because they want something right then within 2 or 3 months. If they have been on your email list for, I would say, starting 6, 9 months, you're going to want to start questioning. And specifically, if they haven't opened or clicked anything in a year, it's time to let them go. Give them an opportunity to re-sign up, have more content that maybe does a different thread that gets them on a different email list of the stuff that they're interested in. If you have, different content that you're sending out, I give them another thing that they want, another lead magnet where they re-sign up and re-engage with them. But having this large list that used to be, I mean, I can remember actually not getting a speaking gig because my list wasn't large enough. And I had always kind of kept it clean and small and focused. And so in that one specific case, it hurt me because of what they were looking for. But I don't think that large list can be something that people are asking for anymore. If you have a large list, chances are you do not have a good list.
Absolutely. And the other thing is that if you have a large list and you've got a decent open rate, and I'm going to say 20% is decent, 30% is good, the days of 40 are really gone. But if you've got a decent open rate, based on what Microsoft is saying, I might actually even cut the list in half. I might divide the list in half, and I might send, even if I send the same email, but stagger it so that what Constant Contact is seeing, what Microsoft is seeing is smaller campaigns, not mega campaigns, and from a reliable sender. You need to be using one of the third-party email marketing tools. I'm a big Constant Contact girl, but MailChimp is good. There are lots of good tools out
I
there.
have some clients that are using Robly. It's been good. Keep has been very on top of this specific things. So whatever you're using, there are recognize that they are doing things to help you. And if you're just trying to send out, oh, I'm CCing or BCCing, you need to BCC. If you're doing that, you're not going to get through.
Jason Wolf.
Sorry, I thought I had my phone on silent. God, this is going to be one of those days, isn't it? I got a lot of editing on this one. Say that again. So Robley, they're doing things.
They are doing things to help on their end because they're working with all the providers directly. So if you're not working with a third party vendor to send out your emails, then you are going to get just lost and blocked and whatever, because they want to make sure that our emails get through.
Absolutely.
So definitely you find a third party vendor that you are comfortable with setting up the emails, that it's not overwhelming for you to get them out.
Absolutely. And then, I think as again, as you're talking about this, we have put email on autopilot for a very long time. And I think you're going to have to be more strategic.
All of our marketing needs to be more strategic with how are we at each stage of the game. I've always had life cycle marketing with marketing when you're trying to woo the prospect in and convert them into being a client needs to be one type of email or one type of marketing. And then the next section where you are still marketing to people that have recently become clients, but have those specific conversations with those people to where they don't feel like they're on the general list. They're not getting the emails maybe that you're sending to the prospects that sound more generic, that you're talking specifically to them. And then if you have a cycle where somebody actually finishes with your product and you need them to either renew or give you a review, that those are short little campaigns that you're sending out. And you need to have conversations and specific processes and systems in place for each stage of your marketing.
Absolutely. Well, Ellen, I can geek out with you on email forever. But we're going to put a pin in it here, and I'm going to encourage anyone, if you are interested, there will be a link to Ellen McDowell, your social butterfly. Look for her on LinkedIn. She is incredibly prolific. She's always sharing wonderful information. And there'll be a link to her website. It's still ellenmcdowell.com.
Yes.
And she is your social butterfly. Ellen, thanks for being a part of the show.
I am happy to be back, and we'll continue this conversation as this develops.
Absolutely. And if you're looking for more information on this topic and other marketing topics, hop over to morethanafewwords.com. There you'll find hundreds of conversations just like this, along with other resources to grow your business. This has been another episode of More Than a Few Words. Thanks for listening.